It took me years to figure out what I'm about to tell you. Most people don't need a new life, they just need a new rhythm. It's impossible to live out multiple versions of yourself at the same time because you can only walk one path at a time. There's no such thing as a perfect decision. A choice becomes perfect through the way you live it and how much you give to it.
A lot of people think that wisdom is a gift that only old people get, like when they get white hair and wrinkled skin. But I believe wisdom comes with maturity. And most of the time, it is forged in the painful fire of loss. We act like we made a deal with eternity to live our lives. We believe that time is an endless resource, like an ocean that will never run out. We make plans for decades in advance and put our real wants in a drawer, labeled someday. We truly believe that the people we love will be exactly where we left them when we finally feel ready. But the truth is, life doesn't pause while we prepare. It moves on. My grandfather was my reference point for everything. He was the only thing that seemed unchangeable in a world that felt like shifting sand. He was the rock at the center of our family. If you had asked me years ago, I would have been sure that he would always be there, sitting in his favorite chair and smelling like old books and coffee. But life has a cruel way of reminding us that we're all just passengers. Today, I want to tell you about the day I traveled with him without ever leaving the house. This memory is both my greatest treasure and my deepest regret. I remember a hot afternoon in my mother's backyard. The air was thick, and the only sounds were birds chirping in a steady rhythm and a spoon clinking against a cup. My grandfather told stories about the small town where he was born, a place he hadn't seen in more than 40 years. Those street names weren't just names of places for him. They were ways to remember his childhood. Back then, I was in my early 20s, and I had what I thought was a brilliant idea. I grabbed my laptop, balanced it on my knees, and pulled up a satellite map, one of those that lets you virtually walk down any street in the world.
Grandpa, what's the name of the street?
I asked. Suspicious of the technology, he started dictating. In seconds, we were there, digitally. I turned the screen so he could see it, and he pointed with a shaking finger.
Look at that square. The bakery used to be right on that corner. I can almost smell the bread.
We did that for hours. We walked past the church where his parents were buried and the school where he had his first kiss. It was a link between his past, which was fading, and my digital present. Then I made the promise, full of the arrogance of a young man who thinks he owns the future.
Grandpa, we're going for real soon. I'll take you. We'll walk on those real streets. I promise.
He smiled at me like a man who had heard a lot of promises in 76 years, but he still wanted to believe what I said. He wanted to believe that his grandson could stop time. But then life got in the way. The real world came knocking. My job got harder, and my calendar was full of deadlines. The routine took over my life. I talked myself out of going on that trip every time I thought about it. I sat in my office and told myself that now was just not the right time. I was looking for a movie moment. I wanted everything to be just right. I wanted the best car, the best weather, the best health, and the best money. I thought that making it special would show him respect. I didn't get it then, but I hope you do now. Perfection is the biggest thief of life experience. While I was busy making a dream come true, I was killing the real world. I was so focused on the perfect trip that I didn't notice that time was running out and my plans were falling apart. Time never stops. It doesn't care about your career plans or how much money you have in the bank. And then, out of nowhere, the clock stopped. My grandfather passed away on a Tuesday, the same day of the week we'd done that virtual trip. There was no big ending, no last words that were dramatic. The pain of loss was heavy, but the pain of what if made me feel like I couldn't move. Months later, I was alone again, looking at that same virtual map, but the world was dead. The high-quality pictures were there, but the spirit was gone. Nobody told me about the bakery or how the bread smelled. I had the map, but I couldn't find my guide. I realized that I had given up a real, living moment for a bunch of empty laters. I gave up the wind on his face for a promise I was too scared to keep. If you are watching this, I'm not here to give you a lecture. I'm here to give you a warning from someone who learned the hard way. Don't make the same mistake I did if you love someone, want to see a place, or want to start a project that your heart is telling you to do. Pay close attention. Stop making plans for the best. Don't wait for the right day. My grandfather taught me that time isn't money that you can save up and spend later. Time is like a candle that burns while you think about what to do. We act like life is a dress rehearsal for a big show that never happens. The truth is that the show has already started. Right now, you're on stage. And the curtains could close at any time without the director letting you know. We only ever took that virtual map trip. That afternoon is one of my favorite memories, but it also reminds me not to settle for digital versions of my life. Don't put off living your own life while you watch other people's lives on a screen. We often say we're being responsible or working for the future to make it okay. But what is the future if not a series of nows? My grandfather wouldn't ask me about my job title or my savings account if he were here today. He'd ask,
When are we leaving?
I get it now. The trip was never about his hometown. It was about the time they spent together, the hours spent in the car, the stops for bad coffee on the side of the road, and the stories told along the way. I missed the trip because I was too focused on getting there and not on what was happening along the way. Don't wait to go to the hometown of the people you love until they're gone and can't show you the way. You can't live your life in your head or on virtual maps. It happens in the feel, the smell, the look, and the now. That trip is still stuck in a digital file because my grandfather is no longer with us, but it taught me something profound. Time doesn't wait. Come back or make deals. Every moment is different, and every decision to live it or put it off leaves a mark that no one can erase.